Hello everybody. Setting up everything looks fine. And here we are. This looks good. Hey everybody, welcome aboard. Nice to have you here after taking a week off from the live streams. You know, sometimes having a little vacation time, it's not a bad idea. So, hey everybody, nice to have you here. And let's go here. Let's go here. And hey everybody, welcome aboard. This is the Shortwave Raider Show. We are here every Fridays, except last Friday I took a little week off. You know, felt good. But we are back now. So we are here every Fridays at 2000 hours Universal Time. And this is a show about radio. We talk about radio. We promote radio. We have a great gang that love radio. Basically, we are radio geeks that are having fun on this Friday, April 12th, 2019. Pretty nice day outside today. It's around, probably not very far to being like 60. Very, very nice day. I took about an hour walk a little earlier, and it was very, very nice. We did have a pretty good ice storm. We had some freezing rain on Monday, Tuesday, and it was pretty intense. And a lot of electricity up north. Here I didn't have any problems with electricity, but north of Montreal, there was tons of people without electricity for 2 days, some 3 days. So it was something. There was a lot of ice on the antennas outside, and even some branches from the next door, the neighbor's tree. There were some big branches that actually fell in the yard here. So it was a good one. I mean, and what made it interesting is that usually when we have an ice storm or freezing rain, it will actually be freezing rain, but then it gets warm and it actually melts. This time around, it actually froze and stayed there for 2 days because it didn't get warm enough for it to melt. And then we started having some sunshine, and that's where it started melting. But kind of interesting. Cheers, everybody. I'll have a little sip of beer. But things are back to normal. And if my voice is scratchy, I was singing some karaoke songs last night. So I do have maybe a little scratchy voice today. It's nice to have everybody around, and hope that you enjoy today's show. And this different location will alternate the location. So basically, on one show I'll be here, the other show I'll be back at the desk with the software-defined radio. Today's main receiver will be the Yaesu FT450. So we'll tune that for the shortwave part. The SDR is working. It's actually working to receive slow scan TV from the International Space Station. I've not been successful because I get the carrier, the signal's there, but the audio is extremely low, making it very difficult to get some slow scan. I hope to get some slow scan in the next pass. That will be in an hour and a half or so from now. So we probably will be still live and check that out. But so we'll have two setups for the radio stuff. We'll have this one and we'll have the other one. So it's not always going to be the same background and not tune the same radios all the time. We'll even maybe tune that good old Grundy up there. Even though it's not on the outside antenna, it might still be interesting to tune around and see what we can hear. There's a beautiful chat room. Sorry guys. There's a beautiful chat room for those that want to join in. My name is Gilles, located in Montreal, Quebec, Canada, and hope that you enjoy our show today. So, William Conlon from Ireland, nice to have you here. Matam Bali from Colorado, nice to have you on board. Kevin Wood from New Scotland, nice to have you here from Nova Scotia. Jack, N9IIF, nice to have you on board from Illinois. Page Master, nice to have you here from Moore, Oklahoma. PA1WX from the Netherlands, hello there. PLF Radio, bonjour, bienvenue. PLF Radio, toujours un plaisir de vous avoir parmi nous. De la France. Really nice to have you here, PLF. Donald Hosmer, nice to have you here, W8SWL. Back in Michigan after 2 weeks cruising the Med. Hope you had fun there. Kevin Wood says RHC, Radio Havana, Cuba, and Radio Marti all over the bands. Yeah, that's a typical afternoon. Eh? Tuning the 25 and 19 meter band, you got Radio Marti everywhere. And you've got Radio Havana, Cuba also. Mike Anna, nice to have you here. Juan Amigo, nice to have you on board from Barcelona, Spain. David Arden, nice to have you on board. And always nice to have everybody here. Your day off was well deserved. Thank you. It did feel good. You know what? Having it kind of recharged the batteries a little bit. Having a full week, like no live stream, no nothing, no, you know, just enjoying a little week off. Enrico Baravoglia, nice to have you on board from Italy. Really nice to have you here. Ray Kelly, nice to have you on board, my friend. Nice to have you here, my friend. It's been a little while. And from Nova Scotia, Canada. Gordon Treadwell, VE6 GPT, nice to have you on board, my friend. And Brian Penny, nice to have you here from Cape Cod, Massachusetts. And PLF Radio. So, yes, it's just a new setup, actually, because there's this setup. Actually, I'm going to show you guys if I don't break anything. So there's the setup here that I will be using. And there's the setup, regular setup, which is here that I use for the rest of the time. So I will alternate between the setups. And for those wondering where Paul the Cat is, he's right here, over there on the door. He's resting on the chair. So Mr. Paul taking a nap in the room. So so that's the setup, and this is going to be like a second setup that we will have for shows. So we'll, you know, be there, be here, be there, be here. Just gonna do a little something because I want to make sure that the brightness is all right, and maybe bring this one towards here, even if it looks maybe a little like this is gonna be okay. I just need to haven't set up the lighting exactly for this part of the room. So anyways, and so this, I've cleaned up this area for some radio stuff. And I'll of course have a lot of fun. You guys can see the SDR play is right there on the desk. That little black box just over here. This is the SDR play RSP1A that I've been tuning on the screen. So it's kind of a different setup. We'll be here from time to time, and we'll be on the other setup from you know, like, we'll alternate between the two setups. I think it's going to be fun, and it makes a different thing. I had a lot of comments about people saying, you know, it's kind of cool, but it'd be fun if you tune regular radios also, not just SDRs when we do live show. So like this, we'll be able to tune in regular radios, and the other setup, I'll tune the SDR. So we'll alternate between SDR and regular radios. I'm not sure yet, but I'm thinking of maybe maybe adding the ICOM here also. So we'll have the ICOM and the Yaesu to tune around, and I'll kind of maybe change a little bit the setup on the other side for that. Then again, I kind of find that the ICOM is kind of nice to be there because that gives me an analog radio over there if I want to tune also. So I'm not sure yet what I'm going to do over there, but hope you enjoyed the new setup and the changes that, you know, from time to time. Jerry DX, nice to have you on board, my friend. Marky's Corner, nice to have you here. Matt, MDK2, nice to have you on board, my friend. Great reviews of the Radio R108 and XH Data D808. Thank you very much. I put some time on these. I took the positive, the negative points, and after tuning them quite a lot for the past couple of weeks, there's those strong points and the weak points. For those who wonder what they are, got them right here once again, and I've got the full reviews of both on the channel. So the Radio and the XH Data are amazing portable receivers. So been having a lot of fun. Actually, I've been using them for the past 2 hours. Before the show, I was tuning around the bands with these while I was in the kitchen, and had a few stations I was listening to. I listened to African Pathways, was coming in well on 13670 at 18 UT. I had Radio France in French, not too bad, on 13740, and also on 15300. Of course, Saudi Arabia always with a great signal, but in Arabic on 11820. Had a few stations. It was kind of fun, and had a lot of fun tuning and having fun with those for sure. Hey David Arden, Texan PL680 says lots of shacks and radios were damaged last week due to no live show. We need this to stay sane. Yeah, I know that. I always get a bunch of. I get 3 types of posts when I do when I pass on a live show. The first one is the first one I always get is, oh, you take your time, Joel. You really should, from time to time take some time off. I get the other ones that are, oh no shows. This is so sad. And I get the other ones that didn't know and start sending me these emails. Are you okay? There was no show yesterday. I'm wondering what happened to you. Are you, is everything all right? And it's like, so that's pretty much the 3 types of responses when there's no show. Sheldon Harvey, nice to have you on board from Greenfield Park, Quebec. And talking about Greenfield Park, Quebec, and the headquarters of CIDX. For those that are members of the CIDX Club, the Canadian International DX Club, you guys, today, fresh, hot from the press or from the computer, we've got the April edition of the Canadian International DX Club Messenger. So check it out. Lots of nice stuff in here to check out. And of course, I haven't looked at it yet, but there's great columns in here and lots of stuff to talk about. There's this guy that I don't really know who he is, but he has the World of Utility columns. Some Gilles guy. There's this Mickey from West Canada that's in the chat that has some very interesting stuff to talk about QSLing and lots of other great stuff in here. A great read. And I mean, it's just so inexpensive and such a great magazine publication from the Canadian International DX Club. I almost read it while I was doing the live show. So you can get your sample copy if you didn't ask for it yet. CIDXclub@yahoo.com, and Sheldon will be happy to send you a copy. And don't forget, there's the International Radio Report on CKUT 90.3 FM here in Montreal on Sunday morning, 10:30 a.m. Eastern. That's 14:30 UTC. You can stream at ckut.ca. You can go and listen to the archived show, ckut.ca. It's another great show, and that I'm really happy to be part of. So you can also join the Facebook page for both the Canadian International DX Club. They have a Facebook page. There's also a Facebook page for the International Radio Report. One of the reasons why it's interesting to be in the Facebook pages there is that we talk about things sometimes on the International Radio Report that we'll post links to articles on the page. And so if we talk about something, then you'll have more details because 30 minutes goes fast and we don't have the time to really go into details into a lot of the stories we talk about. And of course, Canadian International DX Club is a great place to interact, talk about radio, share logs, share radio articles, all sorts of information, maybe comment on what you've been reading in the messenger. So join in, and these are great resources, of course, for sure. Rufus Newt, nice to have you here, my friends, from the Laurentian Valley. Cool. Matt, yeah, you know what? The SSTV, I got the slow scan TV signal at, it was a quarter before 1 local here, Matt, for the International Space Station. And something interesting happened during that pass, because the carrier came on, and it was definitely there, but the SSTV was very faint. The audio was extremely faint. And by pumping up the volume, I did get a chunk of picture, and suddenly the signal just dropped off for no reason, right in the middle of the picture. It came back on twice for like 10-15 seconds and dropped off again. I think they're having some problems with the transmitter or the setup, because it really isn't working very well. We're gonna check it. I'm gonna check the pass in about an hour and a half from now, but hope that they improve that, because the audio is really too low. For those that wonder, we're talking about the International Space Station is sending slow scan TV pictures all weekend up to Sunday on 145.800, but the audio has been very weak and it's almost impossible to decode stuff. So let's hope it gets better. Bobby Burgess, nice to have you on board from Louisiana, USA. Dave Todd, nice to have you here. Ellen 321, nice to have you on board from Norway. Pretty cool to have the Nordic countries represented in the live stream. Andy RC, nice to have you on board from Cornwall, UK. Daniel, nice to have you on board. Doug from Detroit. Matthew Crockford, nice to have you here from Malta in the Mediterranean. So, with your father, cool. Nice to see you here. Hope the weather there is nice. Ralph Bender, nice to have you here from Germany. Pretty cool. Joshua Gosnell, nice to have you on board from Salem, South Carolina, W4GOG. Dennis Bergetzi, nice to have you on board from Staunton, Illinois. William Conlon, what length of wire would be the most you could use for SDR? As long as you can put one up, William. Honestly, the longer the better. It's my general rule of putting up a wire antenna is the longer the better, as long as it doesn't attract too much noise, basically. Gordon, will I be doing space weather reports? Well, it all depends on if you guys like it and want me to continue. If the experiment I did was I did some basic space weather reporting and looked at how many people are viewing it, but also I do that from time to time on several channels. I stop doing it, and I wait for people to comment. And if I get tons of people saying, "Oh, I'm missing the space weather reports," then okay. If enough people, find it interesting, yep, basically I'll start again if people complain and say, hey, I missed that. I did the same thing with the tech channel. On the tech channel, I had a news bulletin, a tech news bulletin every day, and I looked at the views of the tech news bulletin versus the views of any other videos that I do. And the thing is that some of these videos take a lot of time to prepare. Because you gotta, like tech news is dreadfully long, because you gotta go through all the news and pick the ones that you think will be of interest to anybody watching. and talk about it. And at some point, I ended up like, you take 4 hours to prepare tech news. And one day I said, oh, let's see if people miss tech news. And I just stopped doing them. And of the of all the people that watch my videos, I just had 2 people saying, hey, I missed your tech news. So, okay. Maybe it's not worth it to do the tech news because not enough people are missing the tech news. If a lot of people say, hey, I missed the space weather reports, yeah, I'll do them again. No problem there. It's just a question of, how popular they are versus, are they needed? Do people like it or not, Yes, Matambale. Paul took my chair, but luckily I've got 2 of them, so it's not too bad. And that's why I'm here, maybe because Paul is on the other one that's on that desk. SFM Mara, nice to have you on board. Yeah, he's exhausted from eating. Raymond Challenger, nice to have you here from Yorkshire, UK. Simplio says, nice to have you here, by the way. I hate to say this, but solar scientists have extended the solar minimum till year 2021. They are expecting a deeper minimum before cycle 25. Yeah, well, it's actually, my own take on this is that the real long solar minimum we had last time, this solar minimum is not even close to being that long. So it's solar minimum, we're in weak cycles, but I don't really look at that too much. A lot of people shared this on the shortwave groups and talking about how it's so sad we'll be in solar minimum for such a long time and blah blah. And stop going crazy over that. We're listening to shortwave, we have signals, and yeah, it's fun when the solar activity picks up, but there's still tons of things to listen to. And, we're in solar minimum. That's it. The good news also is that the latest reports that are coming out is that next cycle will be pretty much at least equal to the one we just had, which was a weak one. It was the weakest cycle in 100 years. But it's kind of the end of a trend. They're saying that after that, all they could see is that the solar cycles start picking up again with stronger cycles. So, there's so many people talking about how we're in a Maunder minimum and this is horrible and cycles will go lower and lower and what the hell's going to happen, and it doesn't matter, there's always cycles and there's always something happening and there's always going to be something on abeyance, So we got to hang in there and live with it. That's the sun, and we got to look at the positive points. And we are at solar minimum, but right now it doesn't look like it because there's a big sunspot crossing the surface. It's still an old sunspot from cycle 24, but there's a little bit of activity at least. Bill Fagan, nice to have you here. And we all missed you last week. Check out free app Peanut for worldwide ham DMR contacts. Also great for shortwave. Oh, I'm going to check that out. Bill G7IUI from England. Nice to have you here. And Matthew says it's quite nice. We love to have visitors. Yeah, I'm sure. It must be beautiful to visit also. Jose Ramon, nice to have you here. How to buy the big clock here. Yeah, a lot of people have been asking me where you got a clock. They all like that clock. And by the way, it's perfectly synchronized with UTC right now. You know what? This I purchased many years ago. And I think that if you go on eBay, there must be a lot of them available. There, on the internet, there must be these clocks available somewhere. One of the things that a lot of people have been mentioning about the big clocks, and I didn't think about that, but A lot of them that are sold on the internet are actually atomic clocks. They actually synchronize with WWVL, sorry, signal on 60 kilohertz. And somebody was telling me I can't put UTC time because it synchronizes back to my local time. And I thought, oh, that's kind of interesting. I never thought about it. So, yeah, I guess you got to get a regular non-atomic clock. Maybe it's a little harder to find. But I'm sure if you go on eBay, there must be some. I haven't checked out. I should actually check out a few spots and maybe do a video about it, because one of the things that's very important, and you know, I get these all the time, people getting a little mixed up about their UTC versus local, and especially when we have the time change, and that's where having a clock always in UTC is really great. That's why I always set up. A lot of people come over and look at my radios and they're like, why is your clock set to this weird time? And I said, well, that's because, or they're just going to say, oh, your clock isn't in the right time. It's like, no, all my shortwave radios are in UTC time. Why? Because why should I have a shortwave radio in local time? We listen to shortwave, we look at the schedules in UTC, so all shortwave receivers' clocks should be in UTC, honestly. It's kind of a logical thing. So, what else do we have? Chris Alpha Tango, nice to have you here. Andy Colley, nice to have you on board. We have Girolamo Savonarola, nice to have you on board from Finland. Pretty cool. You know, and solar minimum can't deepen more than it is now. When the sunspot's gone, we are at solar minimum. It's not deeper. It's not going to go deeper than it is now. It is at its lowest. This is solar minimum. What we have now is what we'll have in 6 months, and is what's going to have in a year, until it starts getting up. Brent, nice to have you on board from Brockville, Ontario. Pretty cool. Keegan, nice to have you on board from Northwest Arkansas. VE3KRP, nice to have you on board. Fast Eddie from Thunder Bay, Ontario. D1DJK, nice to have you on board from Germany. Ashit Joshi, nice to have you here. Joshua has both the XH data and the, I guess it's a radio wow. Fanny Zanakis, nice to have you on board. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. No shorting of the actually there's a plastic over them. They can't touch on the negative and the positive. So what else do we have? Going down, and we'll join the chat at some point where you guys are talking and stop answering questions of 20 hours ago. Okay, what else do we have? Matthew used to listen to shortwave all the time with his dad as a kid. That's cool. Nice father-son thing to do. Archie Josie says, got my first shortwave radio, a Texan PL380 from AliExpress. You're going to have a lot of fun. It's very sensitive. You're going to have a lot of fun. TOT, nice to have you on board, my friend. Pretty cool. Has any got the Ethon G6 Aviator sponge radio? There's a few out there that have the G6, I believe. Joshua says he misses his old Sony ICF 2010. Not working since he dropped it. Oh man. I can feel your heart probably cringing and thinking, "Oh my God, is it gonna work again?" Have you opened it just for the fun? Sometimes it's just a very simple thing, unless it's really messed up. Unless it's really, really messed up. So, Jose Ramon from Spain, nice to have you here. Joshua's looking for some old school tube type shortwave radios. These are a lot of fun. Jerry says, I thought you were in shortwave heaven last weekend. Welcome back. Elton, nice to have you here. Elton Byington from Baltimore, K3GWA. JWA. What else do we have? Archer's Autocrafter's Kitchen. Nice to have you here from Massachusetts. Massachusetts. That was Massachusetts. Massachusetts. And yeah, well, it's a new setup. It's two setups. So we'll have this one, and tomorrow we'll be at the other one, and we'll alternate like this from this and there. I think it's going to be fun to have like two different setups. It's going to be even more enjoyable than always the same background. What else do we have? Is that a Tivoli radio on your top shelf? I don't know which one you're talking about, but no, there's no Tivoli radios here. If I go in order, let's just go through it, okay? Hey Jeff King, nice to have you on board from Jacksonville. 85 degrees. That's summer. Yeah, Simplio, Robot 36, an Android app for phone app in the tablet app for slow scan TV. If we quickly go here, okay? So this is a Grundig Satellite 210, also known, this one is actually known as the Grundig Satellite Transistor 6001. It's actually turned on right now on the CD band. I don't know if we'll have any CDers, so we'll tune it on the shortwave band a little bit later. Just leave the volume here. This is the ICOM STR20 portable receiver. Here we have the Countycom GP5. Here we have the Texan PL380. In the background, we have the 40-channel TRC432 Navajo base station. Still works. I've got a TRC216 40-channel talkie here. Patrolman SW60 multiband radio. Good old Panasonic boombox that I took out of the closet that had not worked for over 10 years. I decided to take out my rack of 4-track cassette tapes and listen to them on that. The white radio is it's a weather radio actually. I don't know if you guys can see it well. Let me just do this, and we're just gonna go up 2 seconds here to show you guys this. So this is the Midland weather monitor, and actually works really well. It's really it's actually plugged in right now. So here's the weather. Midnight. Clearing before morning. Wind southeast 20 kilometers. This is a weather alert radio. It really is just for alerts and weather. It's actually Fastlow that his dad had it and didn't want it anymore, so I actually took it. He thought, you know, if there's one guy that's gonna like it, is Gilles. He's gonna like it. Then we have the Yaesu FT450 here. The red radio on top is an AM/FM radio that I actually use for a very specific thing. It has a audio amplifier, so you can actually take a receiver and plug it in the back, the audio in the back, and have the audio amplifier. And I use it because I got a few receivers, including this one right now, that I will try to get without breaking anything. I've got my good old Radio Shack DX398. The speaker is actually broken on this one. So when I listen to it, what I actually do is plug it on the audio amplifier of that little thing, So it actually works well. So it's a great way to get audio, and the sound quality isn't too bad. So actually, I get better audio sometimes than even with the speaker on a portable radio sometimes. And I've got two speakers, by the way. I've actually fetched two computer speakers that I've had here that are like cheap Chinese branded stereo speakers for PC. It's actually from there that the sound from this radio is coming from. It's the Yisu is actually plugged on the two computer speakers that give me better sound actually than the radio itself that has a, you know, the speakers on like sending the sound up. Did I miss anything in there? I don't think so. So that's pretty much what we have here in the display of radios. Of course, XH Data radio hour just here. I do have my Texan PL 680 just behind the clock. So, you know, nice setup. And that's pretty much all there is here. What else do we have? Sheldon says, once again, email for the sample of the April CIDX 62-page PDF, cidxclub@yahoo.com, and it's pretty cool. Okay, I should check that PLF Radio, the Aris Twitter account. I know that on the main page of the event, there's a small. They added a small paragraph stating that some people were reporting low audio. John Ritson, 2E0JGR, nice to have you on board. Better late than never, as they say. Yes, nice classic transistor radios, absolutely, Simplia, absolutely. What else do we have? Propagation was actually quite good for me here, DU1DJK. I've had some nice signals this afternoon. V3KRP said same issue with the SSTV from the ISS. Yeah, they're definitely having problems. We're gonna. I've got the. I'll turn the camera around, and we'll try the next pass. That is a pretty good one too. If I look at the pass of the slow scan TV here, let me just check it out on my tablet. So let's bring this down and check out. So the next pass for the International Space Station here is going to be ISS at 1737 local. It's a pretty big pass and 85 degrees high. So that means that it's going to be at 2137 UT. In 1 hour's time exactly, I'm getting a pass. So I'm going to keep that. And I actually added the alarm on my tablet. So it should actually beep to let me know that the International Space Station will be having a pass soon. So I'm going to check that out for sure. Man. PageMaster ReadyWow R108 is an impressive radio for a small size. However, I do not like the small drop in volume when changing frequencies. Yeah, that chuffing or that little muting. The XH Data does the same thing. Yeah, I saw your post, Matt, about CHU being off the air on 14670. I tried here because sometimes I get a very, very faint signal. Maybe just try it now. Sometimes get a very faint signal on 14670, and I did try that SDR that in Ottawa that you actually tried, and so I don't have a carrier at all. 14670. So it's possible that it's not impossible. It's off the air. hearing at all here. So I don't know. I tried to find some information, but nobody was. There was no news anywhere. So actually, it can be deeper than this. Simply, I tell you from experience, I can tell you it's not going to be deeper than this. It's going to be what we have now, but for a while. You know, solar flux goes down to 66, 67. It never really goes lower than that. The last solar minimum was very deep and very long, which was pretty much what we have right now. Brian Penny says, nice improvements. Yeah, there's a new version of SDR Uno, version 1.31. Absolutely. Jose Ramon says, got 3 Texan radios and the red tier V115, which is, I believe, the equivalent of the TVDO V115. D1 DJ KDX this week was crap. For I actually listened many evenings and had I actually had some really cool evening listening this week. Most of the time. One thing to be careful, because I see a lot of people posting, oh well, you know, this solar minimum is crappy now in the midday. It's not solar minimum that's making it crappy in midday. It's that the longer days means that shortwave around noon or 1 p.m. is crappy, and it's always been like that. It's not a new thing. It's just adapting your listening from, you know, understanding the longer days. There's more absorption with the sun being higher in the summer days. So often around 11, you know, local time, 11 a.m., noon, 1 p.m., 2 p.m., around that frame here, it gets, there's you know, local stuff and a few U.S. stations, and that's it. It's kind of a normal thing for the summertime. Zwal Fucker, nice to have you here. Kevin Wood has 11930, which I believe is Radio Marti. Let's tune it here on the Yaesu FT450. And so I got nothing. 11930. I got a very weak signal actually. I'm just gonna check something here, guys, because I have a curiosity. Yeah, seems to be okay. I just want to make sure that the antenna plugs were okay. I don't know. Very weak. I usually get it stronger than that. Oh, seems to be working. So I'm getting Radio Japan 11985 in French from Madagascar. This is this is Radio Japan from Madagascar, 11985 right now. It was stronger than that yesterday and the day before, though. What else do we have? Billy Laptop, nice to have you here. Gordon Treadwell, okay, if it's not working for you, that's not a problem. I've learned by what you taught. Yeah, you know, sometimes it also goes with my humor. You know, it's like maybe I'll, you know, I'll wake up one morning and say, yeah, let's do it anyways. You know, it doesn't take a lot of time anyways to do the space weather. If you like it, if some people like it, I'll do it. Northern Dawn, nice to have you on board from the UK. Pretty cool. Shortwave frequency channel, nice to have you on board from Sweden. Pretty cool. Jose Ramon, how many radios I got? Oh man, I don't know. I've got a lot, because I've got those. I've got the ICOM there. I've got the SDR. I've got another patrolman there. I've got the realistic scanner there, the Pro 2006. Multiple portable scanners. I've got the radios on the shelf here. So you guys can see that I've got kind of a few radios, just a few. So an exact number, I don't know. I'm not sure exactly of how many radios officially I could say that I have. But I got my good share of radios. That's for sure. That's for sure. Which Dixon do I recommend? It depends on the amount of money you have. Texan PL310 and ET and 380 are great. And if you have a little more cash, the Texan PL660 or Texan PL880 are great. If you go there to the Texan and you want SSB, I gotta say the flexibility of tuning of the XH data is quite nice. Having those multiple bandwidths for both single sideband and AM shortwave listening is very unique for a portable radio, and I gotta say this radio is among my favorites right now. I have to say I kind of love it. The XH Data D808. What else do we have? Rufus, what's the beverage today? Right now I'm on my first beer, a very low alcohol for me, at tout le monde, or for everybody basically. 4.5%. This is my first. I'm starting with low alcohol. Yes, John Ritson, this is a Yisu FT450, absolutely. A nice gift from Jack and 9IIF, which means that I will be getting my ham license to be able to use it to its fullest. Yeah, WRMI is huge, absolutely. Hey guys, I'm really far in the chat. I'm going to try to get it a little faster now, but I'm a little far in the chat right now. Brent wants to know, does anyone use a magnetic loop for shortwave DXing? Yeah, I believe there's quite a few of you out there that are using magnetic loops for shortwave and are really enjoying that for sure. Dave Todd says at 69 this is probably my last cycle. Yeah, you know what? I actually what you're saying there, I was kind of realizing stuff. You know, I turned 50 a couple of weeks ago, and I was looking at the dates for the next cycles, and I was like, well, these are kind of the cycles of me getting older now. I'm not sure I want to see these cycles now. But we did see amazing cycles in the 80s, and 90s that were strong and were just crazy. Northern Don's having a pint of Clone Green Man Ale. Cool. The odor at home, or something like that. Using coax to pipe the signal to keep it noise. Absolutely. That's a must. Getting the signal with a coax to here, especially here. My antenna's in the backyard. It's, you know, I've got maybe 60, 70 feet of coax in the house from the backyard to my office here where I have the shows. David Provo, nice to have you here from New York City. Pretty cool. Where do you have the beers? If you're wondering, well, I got the beers in a bucket full of ice, but I buy them at the local grocery here. Big Daddy in Austin, nice to have you here. Looking to buy an ICOM R30 when I get my tax refund any day now. Currently have a PL880 Big Fan first post. Thanks for all the shortwave info. Any thoughts on the ICOM R30? I saw a full review in Spectrum Monitor that, and plus there's a few guys that come here regularly that have it. Seem to be very happy with it. It does a lot of, you know, digital mode decoding for the scanner radio stuff, so you can listen to, you know, DMR and stuff like that, P25 and so on. It seems to be good. In the Spectrum Monitor review, they were mostly saying that there's a little bit of flaws on the reception side of it. But you know what? It's like a lot of it's like the R20 here. There's so much jam packed in a small package for a price that is expensive, but it's not as expensive as it could be. There's compromises, but most people that have one seem to say that they love it. So I don't know. I would guess go for it. You know, go for it. Well, you know what, D1 DJK, the problem is if your receiver overloads with wire antennas, there's really nothing much you can do except put a shorter wire, because what's happening there is that you're getting overload because of the bad or the, you know, these small portable receivers have cheap, you know, electronics, if you want. So they overload because of that, and honestly, the only thing you can do is get a better radio, and it will be better. Because if you overload, any antenna will have it overload. It's just because you you know, you're bringing in a lot more signals. Neville Bourne, DK3NBB, nice to have you on board, my friend. And let's go down. Bill, W3WDR, nice to have you here from Maryland. Really nice. Simply was dreaming of the Sea Crane SSB. Apparently it's good from what I've seen. Radio Week Signal, nice to have you on board. K7LNP from Utah. Nice to have you here, David in Barcelona. And yeah, well, it's like I said earlier, for those that missed it, it will be a switch between, you know, back and forth. One show will be here, the other show will be at the desk. We'll go on both sides of the room. I think it's going to be nice to tune different radios, you know. And one thing I want to actually, it's not done yet, but I want to have this Grundig actually set up on the the sloper, which means that we would be able to tune this and see its capabilities and not have all the interference, because right now it's on a very, very long telescopic of its own. So it's getting a lot of the noise from my office here. So that's the problem. What else do we have? I'm going to try to go as fast as I can here without missing anybody. Milton Byington, that red radio is a Tivoli AM/FM portable. Was designed by Henry Klaus, formerly. It's kind of a because this one is an A-Rock. The name that's on it is A-Rock, and it's maybe a clone or a cheap clone. It's not very expensive. It's an AM/FM. And I use it. I don't use the AM/FM part much. I use it mostly for the audio amplifier part of it. So I'm going to check that out. PLF Radio DRS for the International Space Station. Robert Babcock, nice to have you on board. W0RAB in Connecticut. David Boyd, nice to have you on board. New listener from New Zealand. Cool. Nice to have somebody from the South Pacific. Ron C, nice to have you here. Got a new LX Smart. Stephen Emmert, nice to have you here, my friend. So, pretty cool. What do we have? Rufus Newt, very nice. You have the recipe of friendship behind you. Oh, man. Let's go down. Let's go down. Yeah, David, it's on the other desk. It's my ICOM ICR 8500 is on the other desk where I do the live shows with the SDR. So it's on that side of the room. So Bobby Burgess says trying to fix the low audio issue. So let's hope that it works. Pretty cool. Dr. Sisop, nice to have you here. Yeah, WWV, WWVB, and all of that have their money for the year. No problem there. They're actually celebrating their 100th year on the air this year. So there's some kind of events going on. But WWV's on and strong, and it's going to stay there. It's interesting because it actually brought a lot of people to to realize that these stations exist. So maybe the hype that everything, that we could lose or we could have lost these stations was a good thing, because a lot of people suddenly understood that these are important and exist. Right there, Red, nice to have you on board. Says, did BBC ever come in again as good as you posted weeks ago? Yeah, on 7300, 0 to 01 UT, I've had several nights. It's not every night. It's from the Wolverton, UK transmitter site. It's 0 to 01 on 7300. I tried 3 times in the past 7 days. Once was kind of weak. The 2 other days were quite good. So it's a frequency to listen to, honestly. 7300 from 0 to 01 UT. Stephen Emmert says, R108, I've been able to get used to the muting between frequencies, less annoying when using slow instead of fast, as if you're going 5 kilohertz instead of 1. Yeah, well, you got to get used to it. Sometimes there are mods. Maybe someday there's going to be a modification that's going to show up on a internet site where we're going to be able to do a mod to fix it. It is annoying, but it's okay. It still works, and it's not as bad as other radios. I mean, I have some radios here that have that chuffing or muting that is much worse than those. But still, like you say, use 1 kilohertz and you won't miss out on the signals that you're actually tuning. Max Edstrong, nice to have you here. Nice to have you on board. D1 DJK, BBC Africa always comes in quite nice. I noticed that the in Europe the 15400 frequency to West Africa from Ascension Islands is often a really good signal to pretty much across Europe. Chris Alphatango, not yet. I haven't done any connecting the Yisu on anything. I'm not there yet. The ICOM is with HRD, with AM Radio Deluxe and all of that. I need to set up the Yisu. I haven't done it yet. So, Johnny DXer, nice to have you on board. W3JMC from the Philadelphia suburbs. Solar Reflex at 79, says Bill. That's good. Kevin Wood says confirm 11985. Cool. Simpchip's got 11985. Roughest Newt 11985. Cool. What else do we have? Try different configurations, Ron Seo, about your indoor long wire, and you might have some nice surprises. Tony Turtle, nice to have you here. Yes, Dr. Sisop, that 10 megahertz signal on from time station from Italy is still there. Actually, I saw a post on a Facebook page from Richard Cook that he's received it today, and it has been months since he's had received it last time. So there was a post today about it. So let's go down, going down as fast as I can, guys. I want to try to catch up with the chat room here. If I miss a question, just ask it again, and I'll be able to. Steven Emmert, how do you like Texan PL660 on FM? Mine seems not as selective as Radio Wow and a bit prone to strong station overload. Not sure if maybe I heard it this winter with a static zap. You know what? They are different radios and the operations and how they work. The PL660 is a regular receiver, I believe, where the radio actually is that it's a software defined, kind of a software defined receiver, because it works with that silicon integrated chip that has, it's a full radio. So they might not have the and I don't have a 660. I've got a 680. Maybe I should test the 680 and with the radio wow. My 680 seems to be good on FM, but I've never really put it to the test that much. And those static zaps, you've got to be very, very careful in the winter time, especially if you have carpeting in your home. Be very careful when you touch your portable radios and you're about to extend the antennas. If you have carpeting, if you are on the Abbott, here it's like this. Here it's nuts. Right now, because it's still kind of cold outside, the humidity is very low. If I move and I put a sweater on, or I just pet Paul the cat, and I get static zaps all the time. Be careful, because you can zap the portable receivers. If you zap the antenna, you can zap the circuitry. Those little static zaps that you get are actually in the thousands of volts. Even though the current is very low, it's enough to actually blow the output of the amplifier, and then your radio is a deaf radio. So be very, very careful. Touch any metal objects. I have the here. What I often do is touch the metal frames of some of the radios that I have, because I know they're grounded, and that will remove the static. But touch anything that's metal that could be grounded, and before picking up your portable receivers in winter time. In the summertime, it's not a problem because the humidity level is higher, so you don't have time to actually get that static charge on yourself. But in the winter time, it's crazy. Simon Templar, nice to have you here. Butterbean, nice to have you on board. Talking about noise, I've had 3 days where I thought my shortwave listening at home was over. Last week on Sunday, was it Sunday? Monday evening. This week, Monday evening, I turned on my radio and I noticed there was this really strong noise. I actually wondered if it was what it was. I actually turned on my ICOM because I wanted to compare. From 3 to 10 megahertz, there was this white whooshing noise that was the S meter was at S9 plus 20. And I looked at it and I thought, oh God, don't tell me somebody has something new and it's going to be like that forever. Because I was already seeing myself as, okay, so shortwave from home is now dead. Forever. And after 3 days it disappeared. It's interesting because it coincided with the rain and the ice storm. And I wondered if it could be something outside that was creating a lot of noise because of all the ice. And that when the ice melted and everything's gone, since Wednesday, I haven't heard that noise again. And shortwave is back to pretty much my normal listening experience. So it's kind of, wow, okay. But I was scared. I was thought, oh man, come on. Where is our DX the cat Paul today? He's sleeping just here in the office. I'm going to show you guys again for those that didn't see Paul at the beginning of the show. So sorry, that's the spot there. Paul is right there having his little nap. So Paul the cat enjoying a little nap right there. So that's where he is. That's where Paul is. And enjoying a little nap in the office. It's his new place. He's started sleeping there in the past 2 weeks, and he's been sleeping there every day, or pretty much. What else do we have? AN6 VOA, Nick Casarino, CountyCom. Nice to have you here. And this is one of the products, the CountyCom GP5 SSB. Nice portable receiver. Hope you're well, my friend. Roberto Rojas, nice to have you on board. And Chin Chin, my friend. Mi amigo. Paul Saunders, nice to have you here. Norman Hauser, nice to have you here. SDR aficionado from Miami, Florida. Nice to have you here. What else do we have? Paul Saunders is from Goose Bay, Labrador. Wow. Cool. Oh, Johnny DXer says it does it all except DMR. But I did read that DMR would eventually be a mode that it could be added by firmware upgrade or something. So it does it all except DMR. So thanks for correcting me, Johnny. Dr. Sisop says picked up faint signal a few weeks ago on 1.9 megahertz, maybe from Dubai or somewhere near here, there in the Middle East, and it was aerobic. Really? Wow. 1.9. Huh. Lonike, nice to have you here. From Minnesota. Radio Week signals drinking a Cronenbourg 1664. I had one a little time ago. A long time ago, actually. I had a... actually, the Cronenbourg 1664 I drank... because I had won a karaoke contest one evening. I was one of the finalists, and every finalist had a 6-pack of Cronenbourg. That's when I had that for the first time, and never had it since, but I remember it tasted pretty good. Kevin Wood has a Pinot Grigio. Nice to have a little wine. Pretty cool. So Paul Saunders is VO2PRS. Yes, other hams here. Lots of hams here. It's the place for some ham radio operators. There it says, cool, Gerald. That's a nice idea to switch in between sides of the room. May I suggest using the side for analog and the other for SDRs? Yeah, that could actually be a very, very good idea. The other one would be mostly SDR, and here would be mostly analog. Absolutely. Absolutely. Vancouver Island DXer, nice to have you on board. And he says, when he was in Cozumel, Mexico, recently, one of the taxis he rode in used a 10-meter radio tuned down to 27.155, channel 16, taxi DXing for shortwave listeners who understand Spanish. Huh, interesting. All of these things, we get communications all the time from different frequency ranges, from different, we hear, and it's when when you go to countries like that, and you notice that people are using two-way radios in a very unique way for all sorts of things, and then it opens up the idea, and it opens up another world, because you know that, well, if he's using that, it's not impossible that you could DX that, so it's kind of cool, It's a lot of fun to know that there's that possibility of tuning in. And there's a lot of two-way communications coming from different countries like that, with people just using those. We were talking on the International Radio Report a little bit about that last week, about how people get these and they're like, well, these are two-way radios. Maybe I can talk to my best friend or use it for my business. And they have no idea where all of that, what it is and if it's legal or not. It's far from what they know nothing about it, and they just use it. D666, nice to have you here from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Nice to have you on board. Dr. Sisop says his TVO V115 gave up. You input a frequency, it goes haywire on me, and not go there unless I press a few times. Yeah, well, you know, it's a very cheap portable, and there's so much packed in the TVO V115. I mean, come on, that thing can't cost a lot of money, especially for the amount of money sold. Rekre, nice to have you here from Turkey. 73, nice to have Turkey on board. Wow, cool. I believe there's a few people that use the MFJ 1886 magnetic loop. Arjun Wiesman, nice to have you on board. Says he used to have a Grundig Satellite 208 on a 15-meter long wire. Pretty cool. Oh yeah, that thing is amazing, the Grundig radio, I can tell you that. Brent says, heard WWVH from Hawaii the other afternoon for the first time in Ontario. Wow, nice. La recette de l'amitié, Rufus? Yes. Texan Piat 680. Do you listen to Supreme Master TV randomly or at specific times? Trying to find my groove. I always listen to Supreme Master TV randomly. There's something about that station that's mysterious that I just, you know, it's kind of, if I am to listen to some, you know, religious trash from Shortwave, I'm going to listen to Supreme Master TV. You know, they have these bad jokes. I don't know if you guys heard it, but every day they have that joke of the day, which is usually always bad. But they have that, and they have these, you know, things about, you know, well living and vegetarians and whatever. It's, at least it's listenable, you know. I do understand that they're trying to sell their way of life, but, you know, if I have the choice between Supreme Master TV or Brother Stare, you can bet that I'll be on Supreme Master TV. And basically what I do usually is, I've been doing that a few times. I tune 15770 because it's the good frequency in the morning for Supreme Master TV local time here. And I just leave it there. And they have the alternate in the languages. They have French and English and so on. And I just leave it there in low volume, you know. And at the same time, it kind of tests propagation a little bit. Bill says, can receive Radio New Zealand early on 7330. Cool. Cool. Let's see here. Let's see here. Going down. I'll catch up, guys. I'll catch up. Don't worry. I'm going as fast as I can. Okay. Bullfrog KD2CXU. Nice to have you on board from Albany, New York. Elton Byington has a big clock suggestion. American Lifetime Day Clock. Available from Amazon. Priced $40 to $50. Can be set for UTC or local time. So, American Lifetime Day Clock. So that's a suggestion if you're looking for a big clock. Yeah, it hasn't been coming in well since the change of schedules. I don't know if they changed something, but 15580 from Voice of America Botswana used to come in quite well. It's not as good lately. Dr. Sysop says came back from Guam and WWVH is strong there. Did not hear many fire drakes anymore from China and North Korea. I think there are less fire drakes than they used to have on the bands. I can tell you that. What else do we have? What else do we have? Artist Holly Crafter's Kitchen. Someone else in the channel said he was looking for classic tube radios. Take it from me as someone with 3 restored ones is the funnest way to go. I relit my radio passion. They are nice. It's a lot of fun. A lot of fun to to listen into these stations to radio using these old-time radio tube receivers. Hey, we're at 150 watching. I believe we're just five away from the record. 150 watching. That's nice. Take care, PLF Radio. It's nice to have you here. What else do we have? Paul the Cat Show with guest host Gilles. I should just put the cat in the camera and talk. Oh yeah, he's having a real cat nap, I can tell you that. Paul Williams, nice to have you on board from California. Always cool to have everybody here. What else do we have? John Ritson says 1.9 megahertz in the amateur band. Yeah, it's weird that you have that station on 1.9 megahertz. Dream Shadow 76, nice to have you here. Dr. Sisop says radio locator isn't accurate or up to date. You know, my best for DXing medium wave, my best way of finding stations, it really is, I tune to the frequency, I listen in, and I will check that frequency on Google. And it always brings me a Wikipedia page with the AM stations from different countries. And I choose, Canada and US. And I use my phone because what I do is I try to stream the station that I might think is that station and listen for the audio and see if it matches with the program I'm listening in. And I've had a lot of success with that, actually, and it's a lot of fun. Luis Arevalo, nice to have you here. Just curious, can a shortwave run 24/7 if possible? Yes, absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of stations that do so. Look at CFRX Toronto, the 1 kilowatt on 6070. It's a 24-hour, 7 days a week operation. Brent is drinking Fax Premium beer from Denmark. Cool. FX2 Mark 8, nice to have you here. What is your go-to karaoke song? Okay, if I go to a karaoke, I'm not sure. I'll do White Wedding from Billy Idol, or I'll do Don't You Forget About Me by Simple Minds. These two songs are like you immediately make friends with everybody at a karaoke with these two songs. And so I'd say these are, but I got such a wide range of songs. I sang 2 songs yesterday. I sang Uprising by Muse, and I sang a Quebecois French song. So Dr. Sisop says he hears illegal taxi using CB below channel 1, 26805 to 26955 in Florida. So there's a lot of stuff that, You know what? I'm going to put the pirate flag here. I'm going to put it back here, Luis Arevalo, because at the other side, it's kind of difficult to actually have it on. But here, it was okay, and it works well. So when I do the show from here, the pirate flag will be there. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put the pirate flag back here, honestly. Dr. Sisop never got WWVH in the Southeast. I used to hear WWVH quite often. I haven't heard it in a while. Let's just see if WWV coming in here. It's kind of weak on 15. I got a weak WWV here. Very weak. I don't know if on 10 megahertz it's better. Nope. I'm kind of curious about this radio right now. Saudi Arabia 11820, pretty good. won't put this very long because I get flagged from the current. 11780, Radio Nacional Amazonas from Brazil is coming in well. 11780. It'll be stronger a little later on, but it's still there. 11780. We'll try to tune the Grundig there and see if we can hear that. To see if it works. What else do we have? Terry Cook from Montana, KF7BQ. Nice to have you on board. Miguel Amage has arrived. Hope your ice is gone. It's sunny and 13 over there. It's sunny, and let me just check I'll take a look on my phone. It's the best place to see what temperature it is. It's 12 here in Montreal, so we've got 14 actually. We've got 14 right now in Montreal, which is pretty cool. So pretty nice. Pretty nice. So what else do we have? Yeah, the ice is gone. Here it was a pretty interesting ice storm here. Keith Logan, nice to have you here. Maglone, nice to have you on board. Moises Corrillo, nice to have you here. How are you? Before me getting on your live stream, I found out that General who took power Sudan stepped down 20 minutes ago. Are you able to tune Sudan radio in 7205? Sometimes I get a weak carrier, but it's never much more than that. And I've never really had Sudan radio with a good signal. So nice to have you on board, my friend. JSS 67 to 2006. Nice to have you here. Sold an old ETH kit. Working. Cool. What else do we have? Dr. Sisup. Leonard Brudge. Nice to have you here. Vinton, Iowa. From Vinton, Iowa. Nice to have you on board. Dr. Sisop at CHU and 3.33 at 3330. Check it out here. See if I hear 3330 on this radio. Nope. And 7850. 7850 is not coming in either. What's the best shortwave radio? I have a lot of difficulty saying what's the best shortwave radio. There are good shortwave radios. Each radio, even some of the top radios, have good sides and bad sides to them, and it all depends on how much money you want to spend. Also, Dr. Sisson never fixed Radio Havana Cuba 6 megahertz station. Sounds like, yeah. They've been having so much problems with their audio on Radio Havana Cuba. Daniel Davison, nice to have you here from the UK. What else do we have? Tell your friends to tune in. We have a record-breaking show. Yes, I know, Jerry. The ISS is coming. It's. I'm gonna check out the. We're about 12 minutes, 15 minutes, 14 minutes away. So it's coming slowly. 34. So in 10 minutes, it's gonna start rising above the horizon here. A little less than 10 minutes from now. So I will try to get the ISS, and I will start SSTV, and we'll see if we can decode anything. Hopefully we can. I'll leave it there. It's in the low audio with the weather right now on the SDR, so we'll see what's going to happen with that. Should get an alarm. Dream Shadow, nice to have you on board, Rick. Really nice to finally catch you live on YouTube. Admire your channel, as I feel a sense of warmth among radio tech nerds. Plan to pass my tech exam in May. Cool. And that's going to be nice. I'm sure it's going to go well. And thanks for the nice comments. You know, we're here to have fun, and we're here to just why. You know, we're a bunch of guys that love radio. We're here to have everybody feel welcome, and we're here to just have fun. You know, I hate the types of people that, you know, well, you know, that guy is, you know, pretentious or whatever. I get all of these comments all the time. You know what? No, we're here to have fun, and we're a bunch of guys that have fun. And that's the basics. And you know what? I think that is probably what annoys some people, is the fact that, you know, you get a down-to-earth guy that has somewhat of popularity and doing the live shows on YouTube in Shortwave. And, you know, it kind of annoys people. Some people just get annoyed because other people get, you know, popular at things. And I'm a down-to-earth guy, and this is a down-to-earth channel, and everybody's welcome here all the time. So beer number 2, which is a Blanche de Chambly. I didn't show you guys, but it's a Blanche de Chambly, 5%. And yeah, an hour and a half for a beer is not bad, especially 5%. So cheers, everybody. What else do we have? Keith Logan, your video are cool to watch. Thank you very much, Keith. Page Master, I had to explain why you cannot put too much power behind a microwave frequency at work if it has intelligence on the frequency. DE1 DJK SRI Swiss Radio is active daily 3985 and 6005. Yeah, there's that relay. You guys have a few relays that are kind of interesting. I miss Swiss Radio International. It was one of those stations I enjoyed tuning in on shortwave. THZ Sundris, nice to have you on board from Norway, my friend. Well, once again, for those that don't know, I'm from Montreal, Quebec, Canada here. Bullfrog, that's a nice idea, streaming a station you think you're hearing. Sounds like a simple idea, but I never tried it before. So, yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. I can't sing a song, Dr. Sisop. My channel, my video will be flagged for copyright infringement. I did it on my tech channel once for Christmas, and the video was blocked everywhere in the world. The next morning, everybody said, we can't watch your show. Why? And I went to my YouTube channel and said, well, that video is blocked everywhere in the world because there's content from, you know, there was copyrighted content. Man Radio DXer, nice to have you on board. Hey, happy birthday. Happy birthday. Man. Thanks, David, for sharing on Twitter. Roadrunner, nice to have you on board. Good afternoon, my friend. Preston Sabbath, can you tune me out to show me how to tune a radio? Well, you know, I can give you general tips. Well, you know what? Well, there's the International Space Station coming up. I'll keep that as an idea, and when we come back, we'll give general tips on how I tune. Maybe some people will find it interesting to find how I tune in the shortwave frequencies and tune in the radios. Dave Todd says there's been some brief e-skip openings lately. Yes, season is getting there. I mean, we're getting into the summer slowly. I mean, come on. Absolutely. That's my tablet telling me the International Space Station is going to be here in 5 minutes. So I put these alerts to make sure that I don't miss them. And we'll see if, hopefully, the audio's back. Hopefully, You know, hopefully the audio is going to be good. Let's hope. For sure. I do have a lot of videos about tuning, and you know, if you go through my videos, there's a lot of stuff there that are going to help out. But you know, could be interesting. Roadrunner, I'm new to all of this. Just picked up the technician book to study. How hard is the test, and what handheld is good for beginners? So anybody who would like would recommend any handheld for a guy that's about to become an amateur radio operator? That could be a good starter radio. Phoenix Zanakis, would you really be flagged for copyright playing the current verses? Absolutely. Last time I posted a video of reception of Saudi Arabia, it was in the Quran. They were actually doing the Quran verses, and I got flagged on the channel. So there's something about it. I wonder if it's not related to the fact that it's religious related, possibly. Justin Mass, can you suggest a cool yet usable vintage radio? Glad to see you out here. I love the show. There's a lot of good vintage radios. I mean, if you look for tabletops, there's really great radios like the good old Kenwoods. Kenwood R1000, R600, R2000. The Yaesu FRG7 is a favorite among a lot of people, and I've seen a lot of people get one for rather cheap. Fastlow, that's in the chat room from time to time, got one for, I believe, $75. These are great radios, and they are fun to tune. Old vintage, they don't cost too much, and you have a lot of fun. ICOM ICR 70, 71A, great receivers also. So, you know. That good old joke. You can tune a radio, but but can you tune a fish? Can you tune a fish? Man. What else do we have here? What else do we have? Try 9395 in Montreal. So as the International Space Station is coming in, we are going to, let's try 9395. It's very weak. I barely hear it. It's here, but it's weak in the noise on 9395 right now. Okay, the ISS is now rising. I will set the frequency of the SDR 145,805. We're going to start there. Put a little more, pump up the volume a little bit. Hopefully. There's a carrier on 145,803. That's weird. Is that? I don't think it's that. Oh, it is. They still have a very, very bad audio. I'm hearing it right now, and it's very low in the sky, and it has really bad audio. Still bad audio on it. I mean, wow. I'm getting the carrier. I'm going to show you guys. So on the screen there, I'm getting the carrier. I know you guys can't see really well, but I'm getting the carrier right here. And it just turned off. The audio is very, very, very low. I'm getting the International Space Station. That's official, but the audio is extremely, extremely low. Forget it. I'm not going to be able to decode any pictures with such a weak audio. So I'm going to wait for the next signal, but this is crappy. Their setup is no good today. really crappy. Well, it's interesting. There's a satellite that's coming through also. I'm just gonna check something here. Look at that, guys. There's another satellite. What you're hearing here is a satellite that is radio satellites right now. It's I think it's XW2D. That's a satellite. I'm getting a good signal from the Morse code beacon of 14585 852-ish. So I'm getting that. That's for the International Space Station. I'm getting a very this is very bad. I'll try it again, but no good. Audio is too low. They need to fix it. Man. Rufus is getting 11810. Yes, BBC from Ascension Islands on that frequency, 11810. It's one of the frequencies that sometimes... Yep. I'm getting it not very strong. There we go, guys. International Space Station is back on. The volume is at maximum level on my SDR. Just to give you guys an idea. I'll show you guys what I'm gonna get. I'm getting, with the maximum volume, I'm actually getting a little picture. I'll actually take a picture out of it and with my phone and show you guys. But wow, the audio is way too weak. Wow. And here we go. I'm putting back the volume. Just going to show you guys quickly what I got with maximum volume. So imagine it's so low that I had to put the SDR at the maximum volume on 145/800, and this is what I caught. So let me just take a picture. This is what I was able to decode on the International Space Station pass over Montreal right now. So look at this. It's very noisy, but it's what I got. Very noisy, but this is what it looks like. So it's definitely sending pictures, but the audio is so low that it's impossible to decode. And I have to put the SDR maximum volume for it to work. Pretty crazy. It's really bad. So anyways, that's International Space Station decoding for you. So let's go back to shortwave now. So anyways, Charles Worcester, nice to have you here. He's got a patrolman shortwave just like the one you have. Do you want me to send it to you if you so that what is your mailing address? Charles, send that send me an email at official shortwave radio @gmail.com. I'll put it down here in the comments. And anybody that has a radio they would like to send, I'll be glad to give them a new home. So official shortwave radio @gmail.com. So you see now it's back again with another picture, but it's very weak audio. Ray Kelly's got All India Radio on 94.45. Check that out, 94.45. I've got really weak signals. I'm wondering if everything's alright with the antennas. Honestly. Since I'm not going to do any more slow scan, I'm just going to switch the antennas and put the SDR back on shortwave. So here we go. And here we go. So I just switched back to the shortwave antenna on the SDR. I'm going to put the SDR right. There we go. Radio's down. Man. And it's the Conicom. It had to happen. So I'm going to tune 94.45. The signals are... So here we're back. Yeah, signals are not super well. The Grace is good on 94.20. Let's try it out here. Yeah, Grace is good. 94.20. Voice of Grace, 94.20 is pretty good. So, pretty nice. Okay. What do we have? Let's go down. Kevin Wood says Al Jazeera confirmed the guy in Sudan. Let's just go down. Ralph Bender, take care, my friend. Always nice to have you here. Is Grundig radio good or no? Well, good old Grundigs are really good. Newer Grundigs, you got to be careful because they aren't. Grundig isn't manufactured by Grundig anymore. Most of them are manufactured now in China by other companies, and they just use the branding for Grundig because it has a good name. Well, you know what, Dr. Sisab, it's not just 6 megahertz. Almost all the frequencies radio van in Cuba are bad audio. It's really bad audio, honestly. Brent says, when you hear a hard to DX station, it's so cool. Absolutely. When you hear the station that's like, you know, you've been chasing for so long, so amazing. Have you ever used a Yaesu 857D? Nope. I don't have any transceivers except the Yaesu FT450, but some people in the chat room, if you have questions, Scalio 4, there are probably a lot of people. Where do you get your beer, Brent? Grocery store most of the time. Medina Mike, nice to have you here, my friend. Nice to have you here. What else do we have? Rufus is still in his first. So cheers, everybody. Moises, it's actually brewed here in Quebec, but it's a Belgian style ale, actually. So that's why it looks like. Do you have another station daily? What do you mean a station daily, William? Simply, well, you know, there's a lot of talk about these political groups in Australia that wants to have Radio Australia back on the air, but you know, it's mostly make up a song. I like to listen to shortwave radio. I get my old Grundig with me. That'll be a new hit song, shortwave radio. The ISS International Space Station is 145.800, 145.800, Kevin Wood. And it's in FM mode. Moises says another frequency from Sudan is 1296 kilohertz medium wave. So you can try to catch it maybe with some of the SDRs that are close to it. Honestly, there are some talks about bringing not Radio Australia, D1DJK. The only talks that I've heard is the Northern Territory stations that were broadcasting locally over there, shortwave. That's what they're talking about bringing back. But I think Radio Australia itself it's pretty gone. Ethan Best, nice to have you here. Tropo has been good too. Cool. What else do we have? So, hey, happy birthday, Mad Radio DXer. Happy birthday, Mad Radio DXer. Happy birthday to you. I hope you get a new radio too. Hey, that's pretty good. Woohoo! Cheers. Oh, man. What else do we have? Million of Mike says would be nice to see you in Mike Page backyard, fellow Montrealer in YouTube. How grows palm trees in his backyard? Wow, really? Checking out the shortwave band under the palms. Cool. That would be. In Mike Page backyard. Yes. Yes, tomorrow Keith Logan is another live show, by the way. Yes, absolutely. 2000 hours UTC. William Hell, nice to have you here. Where's the flat screen? On the other side of the room. Actually, if things go the way they go, in maybe a month and a half, my 50-inch TV in the living room could possibly be here. So I would have a TV on each side and be able to show stuff on each side, which would be nice. That Sony is a 32-inch. And it's actually a TV. And it's just that the computer's plugged in with an HDMI cable. But it's actually a Sony TV. Felipe, nice to have you here. EA7THI, pretty cool. Jerry Gonzalez, nice to have you on board. Slow scan TV from the International Space Station. I'm being adopted by aliens. The mode used for SSTV is MAI-75. MAI-75. Shitty Pyro 90, nice to have you on board. V3KRP has a picture from the ISS. Cool. The D1DJK's got a QSL from the ISS. Alex Chamkin, nice to have you here. Pretty cool to have you on board. M6IXY. Really cool. Band breeder DXer. Never can ISS SSTV image be perfect unless one has a dedicated antenna specifically for it. Yeah, I got a few really nice decodes, but man. Mr. Licky Train from Pennsylvania. Nice to have you here. Let me just go back down if I can find where I was. So V3KRP's got the same picture with less noise. Brian Penny's just got half of the image. You got to be at the great time also. Mr. Licky Train has his trusty Texan PL 880 hooked to a single wire antenna. Cool. Welcome aboard, my friend. Maybe Shitty Pyro 90 tried to listen 9665 and his receiver was too noisy. Wonder what's up with the conditions. Yeah, they're going ups and downs for sure. Kevin Woods is hearing the International Space Station week on his ICR2. Jerry says 27-degree pass from ISS, got nothing. Oh, okay, V3. I'm going to check it out here on my phone, show you guys the picture that VE3KRP has received from... And we've got gallery always. Oh, these are not bad, Mickey. Mickey was showing the Saint-Ambroise, but you need to like IPAs. If you don't like the taste of IPAs, you might not like these. But there's nice beers, Saint-Ambroise. I've had a few of them. It's not what I find the best for my personal taste. But they're not bad. Try them. Try them. And that's what? The triple pack. And Kevin has also a beautiful portable receiver here. Look at that, guys. That's a really nice portable, good old multi-band portable from the 80s, 70s, or 80s. Really nice. Okay, what else do we have here? I'm searching for a picture of... Did you send the picture of E3KRP? Did you send it to official shortwave radio at gmail.com? I don't have the picture of the pass. Madagascar World Voice from on 11610. Let's try it out here. 11610. Oh, pretty good. Pretty good. 11610 from Madagascar, booming in. That station's really, really good. William Collins says Eton G6, very small but great reception. Dr. Sisop uses his old Yaesu 757, great receiver. Cool. Norman Hauser loves Molson beer and Labatt 50. Whoops, I just kicked my camera. Let me just put it back to normal. I'm just going to try to put my foot somewhere else. Molson Canadian. There's a friend of mine. A friend of mine has has diabetes, but he craves beer and always enjoyed a beer. And he made me find that if you have diabetes, yeah, you probably shouldn't drink beer. But if it's controlled and you can sometimes have a beer, I know that here Canadian 67 is the beer with the least amount of sugar of all the beers. So if you want to have a beer, a Canadian 67 has the least amount of sugar for people that have diabetes. Kimberly, K6YYL, nice to have you on board from California. Roberto Rojas, nice to have you on board. Kevin Wood has the 15555. I wonder if I'm going to hear him. 15555. Not hearing anything right now on the frequency. What else do we have? Really DXer. Yeah, the only station from pretty much from well, there's that station on 5045 kilohertz, but pretty much what most people get from Australia is Reach Beyond Australia, which is HCJB Australian version, if you want. So, Grammy goes to Joe for the best shortwave radio song. Oh, man. You know what? I'm a gnome. I can tell you one thing. I never got subscribers by annoying other channels with subscribers. That's all I got to say. That's not how you build a channel. So if you're here just to get subs, go annoy somebody else. Poseidon. Would you agree that shortwave is moving online and soon there will be less and less shortwave broadcasters to tune on the radio? The thing is most broadcasters that leave don't even stay online. 90% of shortwave broadcasters that left were not online and didn't have an online replacement. They just shut their service down and that's it. It's a question of money. So, which tends me to say that people aren't on leaving shortwave to get on the internet. And to give you an idea of stations noticing that the internet is not the best place in the world for broadcasting, is when you look at stations like Radio Prague or Radio Slovakia that left but suddenly decided to come back via relays, because they pay for the relays via WRMI, because they understood that, you know what, it was not a good idea to leave, but they don't have the budget to come back because maintaining a transmitter site is costly. And I would say that if one of the problems that happened for a long time, if a lot of these stations that left shortwave had a cheap way to stay on the air via a relay, a lot of them would have stayed. A lot of them that actually, there's quite a few of them that went internet only and left and are not there anymore because they noticed that internet only doesn't work. They don't have the same audience. What's happening mostly is that in 20 years, shortwave is still going to be here, and there's still going to be some stations on shortwave. But they're focusing on areas where shortwave is still important. So Africa, Asia, that's where shortwave is very important. You know, the lack of listening, of having transmissions to North America comes from the fact that in North America, there was a lack of listeners. There was listeners, you know, didn't really continue listening to shortwave. There was other means and other things to listen to, and the listenership probably went down. But in areas like Africa and Asia, there's still so much radios out there. There's so many people that have no internet connection that need that to work, and the shortwave radio is important. There's so much happening. You know, so many countries where the politics are very troublesome, it's very complicated, and the only way you can have news is from an outside source, because the internet can easily be blocked, or you can just switch it off if something happens. And what happens is in these countries, having shortwave broadcasts is important, and The BBC and the Voice of America understand that. And actually, if you look at the BBC and you look at Voice of America transmissions, they might have stopped for certain areas of the world, but they are still, and there is still, as many broadcasts now as there was almost 10 years ago. They haven't really lowered the amount of time they broadcast to Africa or Asia. Even in some cases, they even actually added hours, because you see that there is a need for that. Keith Logan, what is this on 3700? What? Well, that's in the middle of the amateur band, so possibly going to be amateur radio operators. Pirate Ripley, ever talk on 3916 nets? Well, I don't have my ham license, so I don't talk, but I have often listened to 3916 net on shortwave, absolutely. Leonard Branch says, have you some tips on how to get DMR on RTL SDR? I use DSD Plus, but it's hard to decode. You know what? I need to get that also installed and working. Honestly, I haven't done much of that, and I need to hang in there. I'm going to try to. I'm going to try to post some videos on the VHF UHF range and using an RTL SDR and decoding all of that. That's the next step. I need to do that and install all of that and have it work. Rufus, what type of antennas do you use and how do you run the coax to your radios? I got a sloper. It's 75 feet sloper, roughly 22 meters long sloper in my backyard. It is connected to a coax that comes in through from the kitchen to here, which is at least 60 to 70 feet long. And it is there's a switch box that you guys can't see because it's hidden by the stuff that I have here. The only thing is the SDR that I have to switch between, VHF, UHF, but for the rest there's a switch box between all that connect all the radios. The tabletop radios, the portable ones, don't have that capability. So, take care, Keith. And tomorrow, yes, another show. And by the way, just for a second here, little self-promotion. If you like the show, you can send me a donation through PayPal at paypal.me/shortwave, or you can send it to the Yahoo email that you see here. And thanks for the donations, guys. It's helping a lot. And it's helping maintain this show on the air, pay for the equipment. My internet bill isn't free. It's actually more expensive because I do live shows. So thanks for the donations, everybody. Electronics USA, nice to have you on board from Southern California. Nice to have you here. Pretty cool. Trying to go down as fast as I can. Mickey Delmash says Edmonton 102.3 now radio as their annual karaoke tonight at a local bar. Listeners go to karaoke with a live band, not knowing the song they will sing. Wish you were here, you might win. Oh, I like that. I would love that. You know what? It's funny because one of the things that I like to do when there's not a lot of people at the bar and we're just our friends, and I often will always say, hey, let's just put, codes for everyone. We don't know what we're going to sing. We just have to deal with it and sing whatever song we have. And I love doing that. It's something that I really, really enjoy a lot. And you end up singing these songs that are just like, okay. Last time we did it was so funny. Everybody was laughing because I had a song that was called God is My Shepherd. And it's like, okay. I'm going to sing that. It was just so funny. Oh, man, I'd like to be there. We'd go together, Mickey. Absolutely. I'd love to be there. I can tell you that. D1 DJK says, I'm sure many shortwave broadcasting stations come back in some years again. They will see many people still there. A lot of these stations that left still have their transmitter sites, as if they kind of kept it just in case, you know. Daniel Davidson says he's drinking an IPA called Scarborough Fair, brewed by World's Brewery in East Yorkshire in the UK. Well, cheers, my friend. Take care, Moises. And back tomorrow at 2000 hours UTC. Yeah, I don't drink many beers from Molson, Coors, and Labatt. I'm much more of a microbrewery type guy. It's not all crappy. There's some interesting stuff in there, but it's not my best. And this is my tablet saying there's something coming up. So, Dirty Diaper, nice to have you on board, my friend, in South Carolina. 15555, America's lowest power shortwave broadcaster. I don't know if it's only 200 watts. I heard that they had, there's contradicting stories, Ethan, on 5555. Some say it has 10 kilowatts. I've seen a post of somebody saying it's 1 kilowatt. You say it's 200 watts. I don't know what to believe anymore. But I know that 15555 is a regular here, for sure. Jerry, French ham on... I, again, stepped on my camera. Man. I need to put my feet somewhere else. Here we go. 14128. Let's check the 20 meter band has been open quite a lot lately, and with some amazing signals. There's a lot of talking of French. I'll just put the low volume here. 14128 upper sideband. There's a lot of maritime. Well, it's amateur radios in the Caribbean on their boats that communicate, and there's a bunch of French language guys that communicate with France, and even with some guys here in Quebec around 14122, 23. I don't know if it could be these guys on 14128 tonight, but I hear them very, very often. Simplio enjoys WTWW 5085 in the evenings. I sometimes do that, Well, the Grundig here has such a good sound. I sometimes put, when the signal's good enough, I put 5085 on the Grundig here, and I listen to the music from Shortwave on it. It's nice, nice mix of music from that station. So, Could I test the AOR LA 400 loop? I would need to have one first. Oh yeah, the rent time on relays is much cheaper than having your own transmitting station. I mean, that's I remember writing to WRMI a year ago, roughly, and telling them, they should actually communicate with a lot of stations that were off, and tell them, for this cheap price, it can be on the air on shortwave again. Take care, Sheldon, and see you Sunday morning for the International Radio Report. Have a great weekend. And Ethan Best says shortwave has been a dead medium in the U.S. since the start of World War II, when the FCC required all HF services to go out of the air. Yeah, a lot of stations do issue EQSLs now. Absolutely. Absolutely. Ethan Best says there's a new service like the BBC Korean service. Yeah, they're constantly tweaking their services, so it's cool for that. Selector SysOp 25 megahertz. I heard some FM broadcasting still, and not sure where it's coming from. Yeah, there's a lot of stations from the U.S. that actually relay, have their studio to transmitter relay on this. So here's the pictures that from the ISS from Fast Eddie. Here we go. Fast Eddie has received this picture. Nice decode. Pretty nice decode. Thanks for sharing. So there's still a lot of transmitter studio to link, studio to transmitter link on shortwave on the 25 upper 25 lower 26 megahertz range. So Eaton Best 9830 Voice of Turkey, and also Radio Exterior España. Let's try both. 9690. So Spain in English. Let's try it on the Grundig here. How about that, guys? 31 meter band. Grundig. Let's get this thing. See if it tunes in. This is. So, on this, Voice of Turkey 9830.
It was a short, nail-biting, and ultimately supporting this compilation. So far, only 3 nations have
Voice of Turkey on the good old Grundig.
Out of soft or controlled landing on the lunar surface. The United States, the Soviet Union, and China. And that was
Voice of Turkey. And
and at the end there's a very explosive
what's this?
Solo, piano solo. It's very dominant scale.
So this is Radio Exterior de España, just with the telescopic on the good old Grundig.
To attract the listener.
We've got Spain and we've got Turkey on this nice Grundig receiver. So some music there. Anything else in the band? Let's go down. See if I hear any other stations. Band spread is not on, so let's check it out the bands here. Voice of Greece, I believe, 9420. Yeah. Voice of Greece, 9420. Pretty cool. Voice of Greece.
The great, the terrible day of the Lord.
The terrible day of the Lord.
Mark chapter 1 describes how John the Baptist was dressed. Mark 1:6.
And look who's here.
Keep your finger in Mark. We'll be in there quite a bit. Mark 1:6 says, John was clothed with camel's hair and wore a leather belt around his waist. This description of John is intended, to identify him with the light.
Unknown station. So music on both Turkey, Spain with an an amazing signal, actually. Really an amazing signal on the Grundig. So you guys heard these stations just with the telescoping on the Grundig receiver. So it's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Dr. Sisov, send you some Budweiser. Like I always say, Budweiser, I don't really drink usually unless there's nothing else. And if somebody gives me a Budweiser, it's perfect. Brent says we should meet all meet at a bar in Montreal and have a beer. Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. For those that can be there, it would be fun. It would be a lot of fun actually, have an evening with a bunch of radio guys that are all in Montreal at the same time. That'd be cool. Man. Oscar Adot, nice to have you here from Hamburg, Germany, DL1SA. Oscar needs a beer. Cool. Right Tire Red, nice to have you here. Says only RCI Sackville site was partly converted into a brewery. Oh, a brewery. Oh man. Yeah, there's one in Texas. Dave taught. I hear one in Texas on 140, on 25.910 when propagation's there. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. What else do we have? Simpliolog Slovenia on NA5B on NA5B WebSDR this morning on 20 meters. Cool. Ray Kelly says WBCQ making to Nova Scotia 3265. Cool. D1 DJK, my S350 DL is in the shelf there. Pirate Ripley, we're in Quebec. I'm in Montreal, right smack in the middle of the island of Montreal, pretty much. A little bit more eastern part. Simply evening around, yeah, the Pirates. Best frequencies for Pirates is really 68 to 6995, 6800 to 6995, but also the bottom part of 5 megahertz and 4 megahertz. There's been some Pirates lately, quite a lot. Yeah, I got a weak SSTV image, MDK2. I mean, it's radio from 1969. You got to remember that Grundig is a radio from 1969. Pretty amazing, and it's a full general coverage. Yeah, that frequency, Kevin, 3054 with the sweeps. That was so weird the other day. Let's just try 3054. It's a little early maybe, but let's just for the fun of it. I hear anything here? Note. I'm not sure. I think I'm hearing it again very weak on 3054 right now. Lower sideband. So, oh yeah, that sound is amazing. That sound is really, really amazing. Yeah, I was so surprised, Ethan Best, when I heard the English idea of Voice of Greece. I was like, what? Wow, I haven't heard Voice of Greece mentioned like that in a long time. It's just amazing when you think. Right now, some music on. Great sound of the Grundig receiver. It's amazing radio. 1969, just incredible. 50 years. That thing is so amazing. So amazing. Oh man. Yeah, Grundig died quite a while back. Oh yeah, there were some shortwave broadcasters on 11 meters. I have a QSL card from Radio RSA on 25790. Sounds like Greek to me. Yeah, Mick, you're right. Even Paul can't resist the grunting receiver. You heard the grunting, I had to come over. Do computers cause much RFI, asks William Connon. Yes, some yes. It depends. For example, my Toshiba that I'm using to stream here, with the original power supply from Toshiba, creates very little noise. I can actually listen to these. You know, I mean, think about it. I've got a room full of computers here. I've got a lot of technology here. It's my office. It was my tech office for once. It's my YouTube show stuff now. And there's a lot of technology here, and I still can somewhat listen. You can use, you know, ferrets and roll the power supply cable, stuff like that. Use really good cables for different things like USB cables. Make sure you use higher cost shielded USB cables for your devices so that the radiating of noise is the minimum possible. So it's very, very important to make sure, and keep away from the very cheap power supplies that are on the
ISS, which means without thorns, and it's a popular tune that you adapt to flamenco.
That's Spain.
Yeah, it's only like a small joke for like to mention folk music or even popular music from Catalonia, and it's only like an introduction and the ending of the song. In the middle is a very funny and very cool idea, and it's full of solos from Tijuana and mine combined, and I think it's some perhaps it's one of the hits of the TV.
Well, just to start that song for a moment made me think of the song "Holding Back the Years" by Simply Red. Free Saxon, nice to have you here. Barrelfang UV9, ever used it? What do you think about it? UV9, no. I know the UV5, a lot of people kind of like it. Jerry DX F5 RAG on 15170. Let's let's move up the bands and go to 14170. See if I can hear it. Slow. Yeah. 14170.
Also, it's yeah, plus 6500 water watts into 3 elements. I think it's at 100 feet. That's really nice. Okay, your 556. 5556 will signal into Southwest France and really 1 kW into 3 elements having dynamic and adjustable 46. And using also enough software defined radio that reflects the other 7000 from a Patriot, I guess you know this one also. So, yeah. So, glad to meet for the first time. Thanks so much for stopping by. Nice speaking to you. And until catch up again soon. Everybody and enjoy. Merci. 85 US already.
14170. Pretty cool. Hearing the French station there. Hey, welcome back, Keegan. Victor Sisop says heard pirates on 8 megahertz. Oh, they could be all over the place. I mean, there's no official place that they absolutely have to go. I've heard pirates up to the 13 meter band. So you never know. Page Master, is it a normal thing for those who have a shortwave radio for a hobby to have a cat for a pet? Well, maybe, yeah, because you know what? You're listening alone to the radio and your cat listens with you. So it's like kind of, you know, great moment there. There you go. It's funny because I had a cat for 2 weeks when I was young, and that's it. I had never owned a cat before. And this cat chose me, so it's like, yeah, okay. And like I told everybody the other day, I said when I accepted that Paul would be my cat, I looked at him in the face, and I said, you know what? If I accept to have you in my life, it's because I accept to have you until the end of your days. I will never, never, never leave Paul. In this, you know, I kind of told him it's like a contract. You're in my life, it's forever. Yeah, babe. It's forever, man. Absolutely. So. Oh yeah, D1 DJK. I still have the S350DL and the S450DLX that are both there in the shelf. One next to each other, actually. Leovaldo Mojaro Magallanes. Nice to have you on board, Leo from Mexico. Yeah, 1969, like me, it's an ancient radio. And I'm an ancient guy. That's why I listen to shortwave. Oh, man. The AM is on 14170.
It's good to see you. You're 5556, 5556 into Southwest France this morning.
Southwest France.
I'm doing well since we last spoke this.
You know, it really shows that propagation is changing. We're getting into the summertime because France at this time of day now, 14170. I wonder the signals might be coming like through the pole or something. Page Master, wow, 12 years old, your cat. Wow. Cool, Bullfrog. Cheers. Simply, I want to copy that Grundig. There are, I don't see them very often, but I have seen that Grundig from time to time on eBay, and they're sold for really high prices.
And glad to hear California this morning here. So I'm still really surprised it's still holding anyway. But good to see that again. So thanks for the QSO, David. I'm sure we'll speak soon again. Have a good and stay well. Have a nice meal. And enjoy the afternoon there and a nice weekend. W6DKN 5 origin.
F5RAG. Pretty strong station from France.
Hello, good afternoon. Hope you're doing well. Victor Echo 3, X-ray India.
Eaton Best. Yes, take that time where the power is going to be off to listen to the radio. You might be surprised what you can hear. Matt says radio exterior is better on 1230 than 9690. Oh, interesting. Oh my man, that Grundig sounds amazing. It has really, really. Take care, Matt Radio DXer. Oh, Brent, the only upset moment I had is because there was a guy that showed up and the only thing he did was somebody is never there that says, oh, do you want to subscribe to my channels? Anybody wants to subscribe to my channel. It's just that I have no problem with a guy that's participating all the time, that shows up here and has a radio-related channel to say, hey, subscribe to that guy. I got no problem with that. Many of you have YouTube channels, and it's okay. It's just that guy just popped up, never seen him before, don't even know what he does on YouTube, and says, oh, can people subscribe to my channel? And it's just, I never annoyed anybody to get subscribers. Don't go around annoying YouTubers and other people with subscriptions. That's not how it works. That's all.
By their percussionist Paco de Mode. We started with the tune Menorca, which is Marco's birthplace, and also heard Romesco and Caminos, Paths. And our guest on today's program was pianist Marta Mesquita, who, together with Pablo Gomez, or Chicuelo, wrote the album's 8 compositions. I'm Justin Coe, inviting you to join us again for our next program, when we'll listen to the album's remaining 4 compositions, together with more commentaries by Marta Mesquita.
Pretty good signal from Spain, 9690. Got nothing on 6925, Kevin Wood, for Pirate here. What else do we have? Yeah, that radio has an amazing sound, absolutely. But the speaker is huge. I mean, it's really, really. For 1969, I'm amazed. What I'm actually amazed even more is that you can actually tune. For example, now I'm on Spain. So now it's Spain and French. If I shut down this radio and turn it back on tomorrow night, it'd still be smack on 9690. I won't have to retune. It doesn't even drift. I mean, come on, for a 1969 transistor radio, drifting was life.
Mucha expectación ante el debut de los nuevos ministros en la sesión de control al gobierno.
L'actualité présentée par Guillaume Montou.
This is Spain in French now.
C'est officiel depuis jeudi soir, minuit, les élections législatives.
Yep, there's a show tomorrow, Robert Prosper, 2000 hours UTC tomorrow. We're back. We'll be back on the other side.
Ont été convoqués le 15 février dernier, rappelez-vous, par le Premier ministre socialiste Pedro Sánchez. À la tête d'un gouvernement minoritaire, Sánchez n'avait pas pu dégager un consensus au Parlement pour faire adopter son budget, et il avait donc convoqué, il avait dû se résigner à convoquer ce scrutin. Les Espagnols, presque 37 millions d'électeurs en tout, vont devoir choisir les 350 parlementaires qui siègent.
Talking about elections in Spain in French. So Ethan Best says his best cash this week came from the Trincomalee, Sri Lanka transmitter site, Adventist World Radio in English, 15670. Wow, that's good. Pretty good. Robert Prosper says, I'm spending some time in a suburb living in a wooden frame house. Amazing what a difference, what makes a radio reception. Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, D1, DJK, you always, when you get popular, you got enemies. And some just want to be your enemies because that's all they want. And I got my share, I can tell you that. Oh yeah, ignoring the trolls it's the best thing you can do. You ignore the trolls, and that makes them now that gets them mad, really, honestly. Oh yeah, the Grundigs are very expensive. This is cool. This is a gift from Fastload that you guys see from time to time, and he thought, you know, where he cleaned it up and everything, and he was happy, and he thought, well, where could it be used? And he said, well, the only place I know is going to be used, and it's not just going to stand on a shelf, is here, honestly. $499. on eBay. Wow, that's expensive. What I would like to have, there's a module for single sideband that is sold separately that goes in the back of the radio. I would love to have the single sideband module. But the cheapest that I found was like 200 bucks. Wait, it's too expensive. McGlone, that radio is a Grundig. This one actually is Grundig Satellite Transistor 6001. Grundig Satellite Transistor 6001. But it's the same. It's the same as the Grundig Satellite 210. Grundig Satellite 210. It's made in 1969. Brent, two experiences I can talk about with Radio World in Toronto, Brent. One is I bought my Icon there and was very happy. I purchased a Sangean portable Radio World there, also very happy. And Fastload had a real experience. He purchased a 2 meter, I believe it's a 2 meter antenna from them. It arrived at his home bent. The postal Canada Post didn't handle it well and it was bent. He called him up and they immediately sent him a replacement. And he told me he was really happy with the service. So apparently they have amazing service and it's really, really good. Oh yeah, vintage radios are really cool. Yeah, it's time for gray line. I am in smack in the gray line right now. Right there, Red, 8-second delay on the stream. Not bad at all. Yep, actual time is 20 UTC. It's always 20 UTC. So tomorrow is another show. Tomorrow, Saturday, April 13th, 2000 UTC. Callum, too. Nice to have you here, Callum. And pretty cool. Yeah, sometimes, Ray, there's these things that just are crazy. Absolutely. I remember buying I don't remember what it was. I remember buying something from actually coming from Sweden because for some reason it cost me like, at least 30% less to get it from Sweden than to buy it from either the US or even a Canadian place. It was like weird. Sometimes there are these things you just can't understand. Yep, Kevin, absolutely. Hey, Olivia, nice to have you on board. Bonjour et bienvenue. Always really nice to have you here. Hope you are well. Larry Anderson, nice to have you on board. First time tuning in. Greetings from Tupelo. Birthplace of Elvis Presley. Oh, really? NN5. Oh, nice to have you on board. McGlone says, the family owns a tube-type Marconi and it's over at my sister. Oh, man. Elton Byington says, my main receiver is National NC183, built in 47, but I'm 75 years old, 73 for now. Take care, my friend. These are nice radios. Callum says he's in England, keeps his time on GMT. Thank you, Radio Week Signals. Oh, it's nice to be here. You know, I'd like to have a few older receivers, you know, tube receivers, shortwave tube receivers, transoceanics and stuff. They would be nice here. It would actually be really nice here. Right Eye Red, have a beat up Zenith Transoceanic 3000 that the collector wouldn't touch, that I got cheapish. I use a second cheap radio to act as SSB oscillator, but it's a bit fiddly a method to use. Yeah, it makes it a little complicated, and especially if both radios are kind of drifting, it makes it even more complicated. But it works. It works. You can somehow tune, you know, off a little bit and get that single sideband stuff. So, you know, I should be wearing red, white, and blue. Callum's been listening to BBC Radio 4 on FM, but loves the long waves on 198. He's still there, 14170 on the French station. See if I can hear him. Medina Mike, what year I started listening to shortwave? Yeah, still here. It's weaker now. It's weaker than he was 15 minutes ago. But he's still there from Southwest France, 14170, upper sideband. I started listening to shortwave officially. If I have to put an official time when I really started listening to shortwave. It was 1982 when I got my first DX100, realistic DX100. But my first dabble into shortwave, into what shortwave is, started in around 1980-ish. My dad had a multi-band radio that had SW1, SW2 that I had no idea what that meant. That had weird sounds. And I remember one night tuning, getting a station in English. And I heard, "This is London." And because I was ignorant of all of this, and I never thought that a portable radio could get a station from so far away, my ignorant and a little kind of, you know, having no knowledge of the subject, I thought to myself, oh, I'm getting a station from London, Ontario. Because I had, you know, stations on the AM band from far away. I already knew that. So I thought, oh, I'm listening to London, Ontario. And I really didn't know that I was actually listening to the BBC from London, England. But, you know, you learn. I just didn't know it back then. But the real shortwave bug came when when I got the realistic DX100. For those that I probably told the story 100 times, but those that never heard it. So the DX100 that I'll show you guys is right here. So this is what, I'm just gonna remove the light a little bit. So this is what started all my hobby, the DX100 here. I got that in August of '82. So I was looking through the Radio Shack catalog because, of course, like most of you guys probably, I was an immense fan of the Radio Shack catalog back in the 80s. Basically, I always thought that catalog had so much beautiful stuff in it. And I came across the DX100, which cost back then, I remember very well, $99.95. And actually, no, it was $149.95, but it came on sale regularly at $99.95. So because I knew that Radio Shack has these sales that come back regularly, I started, when I would do chores at home and stuff, I started taking, the money I would earn and putting it in a jar. And I would, I thought one day I'll have that $100 and buy the radio when it's on sale. So we get to August of that year, and I'm at the Radio Shack with my dad, and he sees that I'm drooling over the radio that I could see, And I was like, oh man, one day it'll be mine, It was like such an amazing thing that, one day I'll have that radio. So he looks at me, and it was the day of his paycheck. And I believe he had a raise or something that day. He was kind of happy, And I remember I was in front of the radio, and he said, how much you got? I said, well, I don't remember exactly, but I had like, $58 or something. I said, well, I got $58 at home. And he looked at me and said, how about I give you what's missing, and you get it right now? And I was like, what? I said, yeah. Well, buy it now. Just give me the $58 that you've got at home when we get at home. And I was like, God. So I remember going back home with the box, looking at the box, and just waiting and being so happy that I'm going to actually open that box and take that radio that's in it. I was so happy. And I plugged it in. And thanks to the fact that it had a short but very good manual in explaining what you can hear on shortwave, I still remember the first evening when I plugged it in and started listening. And I remember the first evening hearing Israel, hearing Radio Moscow, hearing BBC, I heard tons of stations the first evening. Actually, there were so many things to hear that I was kind of overwhelmed. It was like an overload of information. Whoa, too many things to listen at the same time. And man, that was so cool. So cool. So my real shortwave started in August of '82 when I got the DX100. And yes, it's still in good working order right away. Yes, a lot of the 80s boomboxes had shortwave on them. Absolutely. Absolutely. Hey, Nissan Greenwich, nice to have you on board from Dublin. But you're totally right. Totally right. Everything that is SDR, digital on one side, and everything analog here. That's a good idea. I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to put the DX100. I'll maybe put up the Super Radio 3 for AM FM, and a couple of analog portables. That's a good idea. That's a really good idea. I'm going to do something like that. Hey, Bro Weaver, nice to have you on board. Honestly, I don't follow hockey that much, but now that the Canadians are off, I think for a lot of I don't know, at least for me, I'll talk for myself. When the Canadians are just like gone from the playoffs or not there, it's like hockey doesn't exist anymore in my case. And I'm not that big of a hockey fan, so Kenwood Woodgel is a Leafs fan. Colton, nice to have you here. I have a lot of products from Realistic. Yeah, they had some nice stuff in there, absolutely. So, Kujali says, got a Saba radio with many bands. I wonder how much it would cost to get it repaired. And you know, sometimes it's the cost versus the cost of the radio. Sometimes you're wondering, is it really worth it, the amount of money I will pay to get it repaired? But if it is a nice looking radio and it's a good radio, you could go maybe at a local, you know, repair shop and see if they can do something. Charles Wilster says, I sent 2 pictures of radio that I have. Okay, of course, I always take radios, always. One. Oh, look at that. Okay, the Shortwave 60, which is exactly that one actually, Shortwave 60. And the other one is, you could say it's same radio in another angle. Yeah. I don't know. I already got one, so I don't know. Maybe there could be somebody else that would be more interested in getting it. So I don't know. Because I got 2. I've got the CB60 on the other side. I've got the Shortwave 60 here. Thanks for the offer, Charles. But maybe you have somebody else that would like to have them, for sure. Maybe somebody in the chat room would like to have them. Dave Todd started DXing medium wave about 1960 with a pink plastic Fillmore crystal set and 50 feet of copper wire outside his bedroom window. Cool. Yeah, the signal seems to have popped up again. Oh, look at that. Very interesting to know that we can actually, if France is there, that means there's an opening from Europe to North America on 20 meters at this time. Pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. It does look kind of like the Navajo base station CB here. Absolutely. It does have the same kind of look to it. Absolutely. Olivia had the DX300. When I had the DX100, about 1.5 years after, I got the DX302, which is very similar to the DX300, Olivia. Absolutely, Dave. That's what I always did. I never buy something. I never bought something full price at Radio Shack. I would wait for it to be on sale. I remember the Realistic Pro 2006 cost something like $400, brand new, and it would go down by $100 at from $399 to $299 at least once every 3 months or so. I bought it when it was $299. Another radio that I bought on sale, this was sold for $299. Yeah, this was sold. This the DX398 was sold $299, and I bought it when it was on sale at $179. And so I was like, oh man, this is so cool. $179. I remember I didn't have really the money to spend on a radio, but I remember I passed by the window and I said, whoa, $179? Okay, who cares? I'm not going to eat for a week. I'm getting it. I'm kidding, but you know, it's that time when you're like, yeah, I shouldn't be buying a radio because I don't have that much money right now, but you look at the radio and you're like, I gotta buy the radio. I'm gonna find some other way to save money and get the radio. Oh God, good old days. D1 DJK first radio was a Grundig Yacht Boy 100 in the early 80s. Keegan's, I've heard Windsor, Ontario on 800, Winnipeg, Manitoba on 990, Toronto on 1010, and 740 and 860. Wow, nice. Nice. Saso Plahuta, nice to have you here, new here, and I really like your channel. I'm from Slovenia, 37 years old, and I have a Intec HR550 radio, President Black Pirate 5R antenna, and Turner Expander 500 bass mic. Nice. Brian Penny says, Radio RSA was my first contact. Next day was HCJB in 71. Miss those days, but there's still stations to listen to, even if you're a newbie. Yeah, absolutely, Brian. We gotta do that. We gotta face the fact that that is happening. I mean, there's stuff to listen to. Yes, we were in a time when, there's so much to listen to, but there's still stuff to listen to. We gotta hang out with what we have. We can't go back and say, well, the hell with it, because it's not like before. It's like, it'll never be like before. But there's still lots of stuff to listen to. I still enjoy a good evening or a good day of shortwave listening. If it's not international broadcasts, I'll be amateur radio stations, like, that French station on 14170. And, it's just crazy. SP1WZ from Poland, nice to have you on board. Does anyone have the Grundig 400 PE? I had a Grundig 400 for a couple of years, and I sold it to my uncle that passed away many years ago for, I think it was for 75 bucks. And he was really happy with it. The only thing I wished when he passed away, I would have enjoyed getting it back, because I knew that it would probably not have anybody do anything about it. So, WCBS 880 coming in yet. Let's check it out. Let's go down to the medium wave. Oops. Not yet. Let's try it with a portable radio. SH data. Can you get that 880? Medium wave. Nope. It's still too early for 880 right now. It's still light outside, so another hour and a half maybe. Oh, really, Olivia? The antenna got hit by lightning? Wow. Did you have a a fireworks display in your home? That's kind of, radio's gone. Interesting. One of the guys on WTWW was on CKLW. Huh? I didn't know that. Simply likes things radio, shortwave, VHF, UHF, running DSD plus, fast lane, and unique trunker. I need to try all of that. David says, what a cool story, Joe. Sounds like me when I got my ICR 8500, my very first real receiver. Couldn't believe it was finally mine. In fact, I can't tell. The ICOM ICR 8500, I drooled over that, the images of that in monitoring times for years, thinking, wow, that's such a nice radio. My story with the 8500 is very simple. I was doing a lot of tech jobs, and for a long time I didn't have any credit cards because I spent too much, and I thought the best way to control my spending was to just spend the money I have rather than money that I don't have. And I didn't have credit cards for a long time. But the problem with not having a credit card is that when you want to do things, or you want to book a hotel, rent a car, without a credit card, it's impossible. So of course you come up to the fact that I need a credit card. So I was doing a lot of tech jobs. I remember I thought, well, I'm going to ask for a credit card. I don't know what I'm going to get. And I got a credit card back for the first time in like 10 years in 2009, 2010 or something. And I got it. And of course, I applied the let's be careful with credit. But at the same time, about 3 months after I got the card, I was looking at Radio World in Toronto on the internet, and they were always selling the ICOM ICR 8500 for roughly $2,200. It was always at $2,200. And one day, I look at their website, and it says sale next to the ICOM, and it says $1,750. And I'm like, that's tempting. And my Kenwood R5000 was really going down the drain. It wouldn't turn on anymore. It would have the dots problem. And I thought, look, I need a good radio. I have two choices. Get my Kenwood R5000 fixed, or the ICOM 8500. And what appealed to me on the 8500 was the fact that the Kenwood R5000 is only a shortwave radio. The 8500 was a wideband. I had VHF, UHF on it. And that was, for me, something that was very appealing. So I thought, well, I would have a good wideband radio. So I looked at the ad. I said, well, I'm going to think about it. I probably think about it for 5 minutes. A very long reflection of 5 minutes. And I went back online and was like, okay, I'm ordering one. The hell with it. I'll pay it, in like 4 or 5 different installments because I can't pay $1,750 in one shot. And I got the ICOM like that. And I've been very happy with the ICOM. I will never depart. A lot of people tell me, you should sell it and get an E600 or get whatever. It's like, no, I don't want to depart. I got it. And it's going to stay with my collection of radios. I'm not selling that. I can tell you that. So it's just funny. It was like a 5-minute reflection into, should I get a new radio that costs $1,750? And I was living with someone back then, and the idea of me spending so much money on a radio was kind of crazy. So I just shut up and bought the radio. Who knows? Oh, man. What else do we have? Bro Weaver says, what I really missed was that anything branded Radio Shack could actually repair it. I do miss that, Bro Weaver. You know what? The Radio Shack Repair Center here in Montreal would actually repair everything. When my Kenwood R5000 had the dots problem in the display, I asked them just by curiosity if they would fix it, and they said, oh, we fixed everything. Just bring that Kenwood R5000 to our center, and it was in Ville Saint-Laurent, here on the island of Montreal. They said, you just bring it in, we're going to fix it. We fixed everything. They fixed even things that weren't branded Radio Shack or anything. So that was kind of nice. That was kind of nice. Oh, well, you know what, D1 DJK? These cheap radios, look at an example. My Texan PL380 breaks down. It costs $50. Am I going to get this repaired? you throw it away and you just buy a new one. And it's sad in a way because it isn't ecological. You know, we should be fixing radios rather than throwing them away. Like, we should get smartphones fixed rather than throwing them away. But the problem is our technology is there now. This is what and where we are at. We buy stuff and you know, things like a smartphone like this is they actually make it in a way that it's almost impossible to repair, honestly. And you look at that and you're like, yeah, you can't repair this. You know, they do it, but I mean, you look at the price and you're like, yeah, maybe I should get a new phone instead, you know. Just crazy. Just crazy. Hey, Radioactive. Yeah, kind of last few minutes. Michael Machka, nice to have you here. Nice to have new names. Dan Trainer, nice to have you here. Yeah, sometimes Olivia, they you know, they get burned down so much that you're just like, really? So what else do we have? Let me just check out here. Cool, Dan Trainer. The only shows I do are always at 2000 UTC. All the time. They're rarely at other times. But this summer there's going to be some special shows, I can tell you that. Michael Machka purchased the Sangean ATS 909X. Great radio. Cool. Cool radio. It's the little cousin of that DX398 I was showing here. But a more advanced, the more modern version of it. Matt says, remember being shocked in the early 80s when I had a Walkman that needed some kind of repair. And they said just buy a new one, it's cheaper. Yeah, that's when it's all started. That's when it all started. Pretty much. So, hey guys, we've been on for 3 hours and 6 minutes. Hope you enjoyed today's show. We're going to be back tomorrow at 2000 hours Universal Time. So, hope that you enjoyed. Last time here, paypal.me/shortwave or the Yahoo email that you see here for donations. You know what, Matambali? It does feel like it. It does feel like it. It feels like I started not that long ago, honestly. So, thanks everybody for being here. We'll be back tomorrow at 2000 UT. And I believe this is to tell me that... Is it to tell me that the space station is going to, like, come in soon? Just out of curiosity. I think there was a last pass left. And anyways, so take care, my friends. Hope you enjoy our show. Yeah, and it's the pass of the International Space Station. 15 degrees is very low, so it's not a very good one. So take care, my friends. Hey, Larry Anderson, it was nice to have you here. Nice to have everybody. Tomorrow, 2000 hours UTC, we're here for another show where we talk about radio. Very simple. We're going to talk about radio. So, take care, my friends. Love you all. Stay safe. Thanks for the donations during the show. They help me continue and pay for equipment and all of that. See you tomorrow for those that can be here tomorrow. And for those that can't, well, we'll be back next Friday. Also, April 19th, 2000 hours Universal Time. Take care, my friends. Always nice. Hope you guys enjoyed the fact that we'll have 2 setups. This one and the other one. We'll alternate between both. Bye, my friends. Stay safe. Love you all. And it's always a great pleasure to be here. Bye.